Hey everybody! Since Mistral released Mistral Small this week, and it has been a grand total of 3 days without the release of a major model, I was thinking of a good topic to discuss. I've been thinking about speculative decoding for a while now, and I think it's a very interesting topic. The claim is, companies are making large language models run significantly faster without sacrificing quality. So here's a Google research paper that shows the kind of speedups that can be achieved. The theory behind speculative decoding is that you can use a smaller model to essentially generate a draft of a response, an educated guess of what the next token should be. If the guess is wrong, you discard it and let the large model move on. But if the guess is correct, you keep it and move on, in effect, using the efficiency of a smaller model to speed up the larger model. The smaller model could, for example, be a Llama 3 billion, speeding up a Llama 70 billion. In some cases, you could even use a custom trained model specifically for speculative decoding. I'm not going to go into the detail of how speculative decoding works. There are tons of other videos that cover that. My goal is to verify the claim that speculative decoding does not hurt output quality. And what better way to do that than to run our own rubric of tests on both the standard and speculative decoding models. Fortunately, Groq has already implemented speculative decoding for Llama 70B, called Llama 70B specdec. So we'll be using that and comparing against their own version of standard Llama 70 billion, which they call Llama 3.3 70 billion versatile. So according to the graphic here, they're seeing 6x speedups. In this video, we'll find out if this is true, and if it is, we will also find out if it hurts output quality. Stick around for the results. Before we continue, I would like to ask you for a favor. As you can see, we are a very new channel with a small number of subscribers. So if you enjoy our content, please consider subscribing. It costs you nothing and it helps us grow. Also, check out our website promptjudy.com. You can sign up and create your own custom evaluations, or you can look at community evaluations for a wide variety of use cases. We have published hundreds of evaluations and are releasing more every week. If there's one thing that you take away from this video, please let it be that you should be testing your own prompts with your own data to see what works best for your use case. Prompt Judy helps you do just that. Now, back to the video. So for the results, I'm going to let my 10-year-old daughter do the honors. Since our tool Prompt Judy is so easy to use, she was able to do the test runs for our standard rubric of tests: the harmful question detection test, which is a classification test; the named entity recognition test, which is a structured JSON test; the SQL code generation test, which is a simple code generation test; and the Retrieval Augmented Generation test. Before we go into the quality of the results, let's check if the speedups are real. So as you can see from the charts here, we are indeed seeing speedups for a harmful question detection test, but not by much. That is because the test has just 2 output tokens, and the majority of the time is the time to first token. So we can conclude that speculative decoding is not as useful for first token generation, which makes sense. In general, we should expect speedups for tests that have more output tokens, which leads me to the next test, the named entity recognition test. Here, you can clearly see the speedups. It is not a 6x speedup as the paper claims, but it's still decent. Again, this does not have a lot of output tokens. And here's the SQL code generation test. This is where we see an impressive 5x speedup. I haven't yet published the specdec results for the Retrieval Augmented Generation test, but I am seeing a 2x speedup for that one. So in general, we're seeing anywhere from 2x to 5x speedups. Now I'll hand it off to my daughter to do the honors and check the quality of the results. If you like this video, please leave us a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.
Today we're comparing Llama's performances with and without speculative decoding to see if there's any impact on model behavior and accuracy. Versatile versus speculative decoding. First test. Let's start by clicking on this table, selecting versatile and speculative decoding, and hitting the compare button. Looking at these results, we could see that both speculative decoding version and the versatile version performed identically. They got the same questions right and the same questions wrong. In this particular test case, we could conclude that speculative decoding has no negative impact on Llama's behavior and performance. Name Entity Recognition Test. Now let's move on to the Name Entity Recognition Test. I'll click Name Entity Recognition for both versatile and speculative decoding and then hit Compare. Looking at these results, we could see that both models perform identically on this test as well. They recognize the same names correctly and make the same exact errors. This consistency further confirms that speculative decoding doesn't alter Llama's performance on name recognition tasks. If we click on specific examples, we can verify that they produce the exact same outputs across the board. This is another strong identifier that speculative decoding preserves model behavior. SQL code generation test. For our final comparison, let's look at SQL code generation. I'll click on SQL test for both models. Interestingly, we could see that speculative decoding actually scored higher than versatile in this particular test. This suggests that not only speculative decoding maintained performance in most cases, but in some scenarios it might even offer slight improvement.